Hello, and welcome to our series of podcasts where we discuss the role and impact of cybersecurity that touches the many different aspects of our lives. My name is Jason Ng, and I'm the CFO at Viki, and I'll be your host for this episode. With me is Viki's co-founder and CEO, Joseph Gan, and the focus of our discussion today is on what are some of the driving forces behind digitalization. Hi, Joseph. Thank you for joining us today on our podcast. Perhaps we could begin by clearing up some confusion. I know sometimes people use the words interchangeably: digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Could you shed some light on these different terms?
Digitization is the process of converting information from a physical into a digital format. So an example of this is when organizations or companies take steps to convert old records into electronic copies via scanning and optical character recognition. In contrast, digitalization happens when digitization is leveraged to improve business processes. So think about how nowadays it is quite common for contracts to be executed through a fully electronic workflow. The results of this process are called digital transformation, just like when business decisions are improved with the advent of data analytics.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for explaining. How about we keep our attention on digitalization then, rather than digitization or digital transformation? Which industries have had to digitalize? How are digitalization efforts related to the scale of the organization or company? Has the pace of digitalization increased over time?
I think it's almost impossible to find any industry today which hasn't been affected by digitalization. Businesses directly facing consumers have definitely been the most affected, especially media consumption and consumer financial services. Think Netflix and digital banking. With COVID-19, most industries have seen their digital transformations accelerate by an average of about 6 years within just a matter of months.
As we can see, digitalization affects every industry and at every level of scale, with a momentum that only seems to be getting faster and faster. Behind all of this, how can we make sense of digitalization? Are there any underlying currents or driving forces behind it?
Yes, when looking back at the last few decades of digitalization, it is important to differentiate between technological and business driving forces. From a technological viewpoint, issues such as denser networking, the exponential growth of computing power, and the rise of artificial intelligence are the factors that really drive digitalization. But from a business viewpoint, objectives such as improved decision making, expanding into new customer acquisition channels, and increasing customer lifetime value through better retention really allow us to drive productivity with better tools for collaboration.
Thank you for your insights, Joseph. Indeed, digitalization is now forefront on the minds of every business leader. With all the changes that come with digitalization, how has the impact been felt?
The ways in which digitalization are having an impact on society is really a complex topic of interest to researchers. Perhaps the three most significant areas are employment and skills, environmental sustainability, and trust. Firstly, digitalization creates new roles, new types of organizations, new sectors of the economy, and even catalyzes growth in the wider economy. However, elsewhere automation will also displace many human beings. Governments and businesses need to forecast ahead of time where skills gaps will be the most acute, and finding ways to quickly upskill and shape talent for the machine age. Some jobs will unfortunately disappear, while others will evolve to collaborate with artificial intelligence, and other jobs may be completely new or remain largely untouched. Realizing the potential value of digitalization at scale also means overcoming possible environmental impact from human and natural exploitation, continuous energy consumption, and pollution. Perhaps protection of the environment needs to be at the core of technological development and deployment. Not everyone understands, benefits from, or takes well to digitalization. From some studies, trust in all technology-based sectors have declined over time, especially with concerns around data privacy and security.
That concludes this episode, and thank you for listening. Be sure to look out for more upcoming episodes in the links below, where we share perspectives on other interesting trends in the cybersecurity space. Remember, if you would like to pose some questions to us, please send these through to the email address below. And don't forget social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook for more frequent bite-sized security tips. Once again, thank you to our CEO and co-founder Joseph Gan. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, see you soon.